Let's talk about textbook ignorance right now. You think, Brian, that's the word that popped into my mind instantly when I saw you. No. Ignorance, by this I don't mean stupid. I don't mean being dumb. I mean ignorance in the true sense of being unknowing about a topic, about a subject, which is exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about the Dresden Files cooperative board game. Now, I run in tons of circles about pop culture and geek culture all this sort of time, and I've heard of the Dresden Files. I have no clue about it, though. So let's dive in right now to the Dresden Files cooperative card game, see how it plays, what it's all about, and then we'll come back up and talk about if any of that matters when it comes to if you like this theme or not, right now. So here's the game laid out. Basically what you do is you start by picking which book you're gonna read, which book you're gonna take on. So this would be Summer Night. Now there's a bunch of different ones that come in the base set, but different books that these are based on. It tells you the kind of things that are in here. There's 3 foes, there's 4 cases, 3 obstacles, 2 advantages. That doesn't make sense until you start playing the game to find out what those mean, but it's got some cover art that I assume is from the books. Again, coming from a complete place of ignorance. Don't forget, that's the whole point of this review. You'll lay out your fate tokens here. Your attack and investigate tokens have a spot on the board. It's nice to see that. Fate is based on the difficulty you want to play as. I'm playing in the middle mode, which gives you, I believe it's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 is the middle. You can do 4 or you can do 13, depending on how much you want to beat yourself up. You'll lay out the rest of the cards out here, just in this field. These are the cards from the book. So you've got your 3, like we talked about, the 3 foes, the 4 mysteries, or the 4 cases, the 3 obstacles, and the 2 advantages are out here. You can't have an advantage or an obstacle in position 6. Over here, you get the 3 characters you're playing as. And we're set up for a solo game right now, but it's actually the same rules as a 3-player game. So you've got your 3 different characters. I've got Waldo Butters, clearly a sciencey type, look at him. You got Harry Dresden himself. You always have to have someone playing as Dresden. And then you've got Molly Carpenter over here. You have these character decks that you use. Now, there's not a whole lot of cards in each of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus they have a stunt and a talent card, which are set up in this nice panorama mode where they make a picture. Anytime a game does that, I always love it. You lay those out here. One of them is kind of a thing that you can do a lot, and the other one is a one and done. So your talent is something you just kind of, it's a kind of a passive trait, and the other one is you get a one and done stunt that you get to pull. This tells you kind of what's in everybody's deck there. Basically, it tells you a quick summary of the talent and the stunt. So there are also dividers for the box itself, which I really like that the box has these nice dividers that you can kind of keep everything separate and quickly grab it. On your turn, you have a couple different actions. Before you do that, in a 3-player game, everyone's going to start with 7 cards. It says 7 cards in one place, but if you're playing solo, it says 6. I played with 7 because it never really said to take 6. So take 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll then have, this is your starting hand. There is no draw phase, so just know that. It's kind of hard to get cards, actually. So you'll take your turns, 1, then 2, then 3. There is no enemy phase. There's no mythos phase. There's nothing like that at all. It's actually kind of more like a solitaire game in which you just play cards to do things, and each type of card corresponds to a type of card out here. You do that card, you spend the fate cost associated with that card, so the fate cost is in the top left. You'll spend it over here, so this is 4 fate. We'll move 4 fate over. This card allows you to do a certain amount of hits, add 2 hits to any 2 plus 1 die roll. So anything that's in the white die, or the white square is how many die you roll. It's a plus adds a +1 to your success, -1 is a -1 to the number, and then blank is obviously blank. You then do what it says. So it says add 2 hits to any 2 foes plus 1. So that would be to 3 foes. So I could add 2 hits to 3 foes that are out here based on the range. Now the range on this one is in fact infinite. So you would add 2 hits here, here, and here. Now, the one thing is you'll notice that it says, when it gives you the instructions, it says to read everything first. So notice that the obstacle cards say things like all investigators cards are a -1 clue. So if you're doing one of these clue cards back here, it's a -1 to the amount. This one though, it says cannot overcome another obstacle until this one is overcome. So it has a link mark. So this A goes into this A. So once this is done, you can then overcome the other obstacles, but you have to do this one first. Kind of neat the way it shows that. Your mysteries, the way these work is basically you're going to Your cases, you're going to try to solve them by putting out the green cards. So you'll spend the 2 fate plus the 1 die roll. You get 2 clues. The range is 1. So the range of 1 means you can do anything in column 1, or if it was a range of 2, it'd be 2, and then so on, just like that. You'll add the clues until they flip. Solve cases, go here. And the way the game ends, you're just going to keep playing. That's the whole game. You're going to keep playing. You can play a card for fate. So if I wanted to get this fate back, I could spend this card to move 5 fate back over to my available fate. You can use the card power itself. You can use your fate or your talent. I'm sorry, your talent or your stunt. Or you can pass by just spending 1 fate. Now, you go into what's called the Showdown Phase a couple different ways. One of the ways to do that, and this is Summer Night is what we're playing here. One of the ways you do that is if you ever have to spend, you're out of cards and you can't pass, boom, you do the Showdown Phase. You can also trigger it yourself. The other one is if there's ever too much fate because of a variable fate roll. So let's say you do one of these ones that cost fate plus a die roll, and let's say there's only 4 there, but you roll it and it gives you, makes it where you have to pay 5. Well, then you go into the Showdown Phase. Showdown Phase happens, it's kind of a sudden death mode where you can spend any available fate here to get these perked to the bonus to the die roll. So if you have some enemies out there with hits on them, you can spend 5 fate to do 4 more damage and then roll 6 dice. If you have 4 fate, you could spend 3, you could get 3 clues and then roll 6 dice as well and assign them out there. The reason that's important is to determine if you win or lose the game. If you have more cases solved than you have foes out here, you win. If you're tied with foes out here and cases solved, you lose. Obviously, if you have more foes than cases, you lose. That's the game. Now, there's ways you can do it where you can set up random missions instead of just playing these actual books here with side jobs. There's a lot of content in the main box, but that's how you play the game right there. So that's it. That's the Dresden Files card game. Now, here we go. Remember, staying in a complete state of ignorance about the IP, let's talk about the game itself first of all. For a simple card game, the components are nice. You get a full board with nice places for everything to go, including components. I like the fact that you get the nice little tokens, different types of tokens for different types of cards. Think about this for a minute. You could have used the same type of token because all the cards are different. So you could have just put a counter on a red card, well, that means it's a hit. Put a counter on a green card, that means it's a clue. But they didn't. They went with clues and hits and fate. It's very nice that there was that thought process into it of, well, let's make it look a little prettier. Again, I don't know the source material, so I don't know if any of that makes sense or matters at all. You then have the actual way it plays. You've got the nice rows where the 2 rows of the cards go. You've got the art for all the different books. I'm assuming are stories in the Dresden Files, mythos, lore, whatever. You pick one of those, you pick the characters you're going to play as, you get a very small amount of cards, you get a very small amount of fate. It is a fast-paced game. You play very quickly in this game. In fact, it says it in the instructions, it wants you to play quick. You play your hand, and if you're playing solo, it's even faster, but even in a 3-player game, you're playing boom, 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 boom. There's no enemy phase, there's no mythos phase, there's nothing like that. You just play your cards and do what it says and try to beat the game. So you're trying to have more, what do we say, more case cards solved than you have foes on the board. It's kind of hard to do, but here's what I like about this. It's a puzzle. The game is a puzzle. At its heart, it is a puzzle game, and so that's why I like it solo. I should say, I really like this game. I did not expect to like it, but coming completely strictly ignorant from the source material, it is a really fun game. It's a cool game that is just, I like it. I like how it plays in that puzzle of, wow, I only have so many cards, I don't have so many actions, I don't have so much time. Am I going to be able to get done what I need to get done? And that's what makes it a win for me. I'm keeping this in the collection. Absolutely. I mean, I've got a couple different characters over there to try. And here's what it's going to make me do. Because I'm in a total state of ignorance about the IP, I'm going to now go look up the Dresden Files. I know there was a TV show, I'm pretty sure with the dad from Arrow, the Lance guy. Anyway, I've heard that's okay, right? But then I also know there's comic books, I think, and then books. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to dive into this universe. It might be fun. It looks like it's about magic detectives and all that sort of stuff. Pretty cool idea. So I'm pretty sold on this game. I think you would like this game if you like a quick, fast-paced card game. If you like the Dresden Files IP, it seems like, I don't know, but it seems like the characters' special traits and stunts actually kind of match what would be their kind of character sort of traits from the book, comic, whatever it is, right? So I say go check this game out. It's really neat. It's got a lot of content with it. It's easy to set up quickly and get on the table. It's easy to pack up. It's a win for me. It's definitely staying in the collection. I like the Dresden Files, the cooperative card game, a whole lot. So I'm Brian Drake here on the latest retro, making sure to check out our other reviews here on the Dice Tower. There's a link below with a playlist of all of our 160, 170 different reviews we've done here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to click that, watch some other ones, see what type of games we like, don't like, all that sort of stuff. And until next time, make sure to follow us on Twitter at the latest retro and Instagram, where we talk about all kind of board games, etc. there. I'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower